Man versus gun.
Tokarev TT-33. Hello shooters, thanks for watching. Today's episode of Man vs. Handgun is the Tokarev, or as we say in America, the Tokarev. So let's see how this ancient warhorse does on the spreadsheet. Here's our Tokarev. Let's see how much it weighs. So it weighs 1 pound 13 ounces, 1 pound 14 ounces. Let's see how that stacks up against our Glock. Our Glock's going to come in at 1 pound 10 ounces. So our Glock plus some rounds. Our Glock plus 7 rounds equals the same as the Tokarev. The width on the Tokarev, this is interesting. This is the only handgun that we've tested so far, any semi-automatic that we've tested so far, that the widest point is the grips by far. The rest of the gun is very, very narrow, very thin. The grips are by far the widest point, and we're looking at 1.16 on the width there, and that is the widest part. The slide and everything else is quite narrow, so it gets a 3 for weight. So it's a little bit on the heavy side, a little bit of a pig, but this is way old school technology, steel frame, steel slide, steel everything. But it gets really high marks for being skinny and thin. So were you to carry this as a concealed carry gun, it is a little bit long. But boy, it sure is thin here in the part that's going to be in a holster, that's going to be in your pants or whatever. So it's a good size service gun. It gets high marks being a service gun. It's a decent sized concealed carry gun. It is a little bit long, but you know, people do carry 1911s, and this is certainly nice and thin. It is not a good pocket gun at all. Okay, the receiver is all steel. They do have, you know, it looks clunky, and the grip angle is all funky. The grip angle, you know, is pretty steep here. Most other handguns are kind of out like that a little bit. In fact, when I do hang on to this, if I let me show you what happens when I just aim without looking on this thing. Okay, shooters, on the Tokarev, the grip angle is pretty steep. It's not angled back like most handguns. So if I put this in my hand and I just close my eyes and I punch out, aim it at a spot on the wall, watch what happens. I turn into Rick on The Walking Dead. So this is the perfect gun to give you that Rick look on The Walking Dead. Okay, so but the backstrap is not adjustable. The side panels are not adjustable. I mean, you can get different ones, but they're all the exact same design. This is old school technology from 1933 to be exact. This particular gun was built in 1956, but the technology is from 1933. Okay, the trigger pull on this Tokarev is right around 6.5 pounds. It's got a little bit of take up here. You can see the take up, but then you hit a wall, and then it goes. It's nice and crisp. It's got, you know, for the most part, it's got a really good trigger pull. One of the things it suffers from is the trigger is quite narrow. If the trigger was wider, it would even be a better perceived trigger pull. but it's the same every time. The trigger pull's exact same every time, so it gets pretty decent marks for the trigger pull. Magazine well is not flared. This is old school. There are sharp edges there, not beveled whatsoever. The magazine, it gets a 3, which is middle of the road. It's it's thin sheet metal. These aren't gonna last like a Glock mag or something like that. But it is what it is. It's old school technology. The base plate, there is a little bit of lip there that you can grab onto something by pushing the magazine release. So this is somewhat one-handed friendly. I gave that middle of the road there. Ease of seating, it goes in a little bit farther than what the catch is, which is a good thing, so it gets good marks there. The magazine release is in a good location. It's not checkered. It is slick, so that that's not as good as it could be, but it is in a great spot. The Soviets had a problem with people dumping the mag out, so when they developed the Makarov, they put the magazine release in the heel. Maybe this is in a holster. They didn't have really good holsters back in the day. They're just like leather holsters, and maybe when it was right in a holster back in those days, it would dump the mag out. If a modern Kydex holster, you're not going to have that problem, but back in the day, that might have been one of the issues. Or it might have been the poorly trained soldiers were just pushing buttons and dumping the mag all the time. Whatever that may be, in the Makarov, they changed it to be in the heel. Okay, the original Tokarev, the safety was just right up here, just the half cock notch there. There's the hammer upon firing, and if you just pull back a little bit, just like that, then it locks everything. You can't pull the slide back. Nothing works. That was the safety feature on the original Tokarev. So when you went to fire, all you do is cock it, and then it would go. In order to meet import restrictions into the United States, they had to add this manual safety. So this is not on the original Tokarev. This is not a bad spot, but it doesn't block the hammer. All it does is block the trigger. But it is, I can reach it with my thumb, so it's not in a horrible spot at all. It is an they added it on just bringing in the country, but it is what it is. It is not, this safety is not mirror image. This safety up here is. Just the half cock notch is mirror image operated by both sides. The rear sight, believe it or not, the rear sight on the Tokarev is a pretty good design. It sticks up, high, not too high, but it sticks up high enough. The front sight is a little bit on the small side, but the rear sight is a pretty decent design. And since it does stick up like that, you are able to, catch it on things to rack the slide if you need to. So it is one-hand manipulation friendly. The front sight is a little bit narrow, and it isn't dovetailed. The rear sight is dovetailed. The front sight is just part of the slide. So that is what it is. The slide catch is right here where it belongs, and it does work as advertised. It is not mirror image. It does stay out of the way though. I don't touch it with my firing thumb, and I don't touch it with my support thumb. So it's in a good location, and it's a pretty decent design. This was made way before consideration was made for putting lights on handguns, and there's no way to add optics to this either. This is old school. But let's go out to the range and put some rounds through this thing.
The Tokarev shoots a high velocity round, but the recoil is really mild. It's really a nice, pleasant gun to shoot. It's a flat shooting round, that's for sure. But since the bullet's not very heavy, it's a pleasant gun to shoot. The recoil isn't objectionable at all. The muzzle blast is a little bit more than what you're going to experience in some other handguns, but it's nothing that's uncomfortable. It's just a fun gun to shoot. I enjoyed shooting it. They're a lot of fun to own.
Final thoughts on the Tokarev. It's a fun handgun to shoot. I'm not going to conceal carry one. I don't think the round is suitable for concealed carry, but it's this is a fun gun to shoot, a fun gun to own. They're not expensive. If you're looking for something like this, I think it's a great choice just for a fun gun to shoot at the range that not many people probably have. Thanks for watching. Appreciate all the likes, shares, and subscribes. Any questions or comments, post them below. If you got a Tokarev, and post your thoughts on it down below.
Ensure that your training and your practice is preparing you for the real world, your real world, and not for the fantasy land of the shooting range.
And as always, have a good day.